I'm crossing my fingers that I can use this to cover this. Oh my goodness, this is looking dicey. I might have messed up. We store all of the kids' craft supplies, extra school supplies, and some board games in the sideboard. But after looking around for different storage options, I realized that it makes so much more sense to actually work with something that I already have on hand, better for the environment, better for the bank account. So we're gonna try to make over this 16-year-old IKEA sideboard into something more modern for this wall. Hey there, it's Christina from the DIYmommy.com. Let's get started. We purchased this IKEA sideboard in 2006 when we first purchased our acreage. We moved into a garage conversion on our acreage. We had very little money. We went to the IKEA as is section, found this sideboard. I think it was $150. So this sideboard has seen 16 years of being in our garage house as an entertainment unit. And then once we built this house in 2013, it moved over here to store all of the kids' crafts and everything. So it is a little worse for wear. We have a lot of scratched up finishes. Also, there's one drawer that's broken, but I think we can fix the drawer. And I think we can make this whole sideboard look a lot more interesting, more modern, more clean, on a budget. So I'm beginning this makeover by taking everything out of the sideboard. There's so much stuff. I do go through this sideboard once a year to see if there's things that we can throw out. Obviously, it's been a while since I've done this, so I'm taking a lot of things out to put back in the piece, and then a lot of things are just going into recycling or garbage. My girls love to do crafts, so I definitely want to keep a lot of crafts and put them back in this piece. I also discovered how disgusting this spot underneath the drawer was. I don't know if it's ever been touched. This is so embarrassing. Now that I've taken everything out of the piece, I'm vacuuming it down, wiping it down, and we're ready to get started on the more fun part of this makeover. We're gonna begin by removing the hardware with a drill. I'm gonna keep it because I might use it again, I might not. I wanna do the finish on this piece first. Sean's downstairs doing some sort of DIY too. So I'm just using a drill and I'm opening up the drawers like this, removing the screws in the back. So here we have the handles, which are really cute actually. They're kind of more of a traditional style handle, which is nice. Even if I don't use them for this project, I'm gonna save them for a future project because you never know when something like this could come in handy. All the handles are off and I've been thinking about it as I've been removing the handles. I don't think I'm gonna use them again on this piece. I want this piece to be a combination of traditional and modern, so that transitional look. And I feel like these handles are just too country, farmhouse kind of look. I'm going to fill all of the holes in the dresser. I am using some wood filler, and don't laugh at me, I am using an IKEA old spatula. This is my favorite pancake flipper, and honestly this is like one of my favorite tools for doing spackling or wood filling because it's very, very flexible. It does a good job. Little tip for you, I think they're only like 87 cents. So we're gonna fill all these holes with wood filler, we're gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna sand this whole piece. This product right here is called Pole Wrap. I found it at Home Depot Canada online. It comes in an MDF format and then it comes in an oak format. I have seen people use this for transforming furniture. I think I saw it on TikTok first, and then I saw Drew Fox from Lone Fox Home use this on a piece of furniture. I thought it was a great way to modernize my piece. Not very expensive. I grabbed the MDF version because I'm pretty sure I want to paint my piece. Really, really easy to cut. So I'm going to use a miter saw to cut this to size, and then I'm just going to use a utility knife to cut the vertical part to size. My piece is cut. What I want to do, and I think it's going to look really neat, is I want to inset one of these in each of the doors on the sides of the cabinet here. So it looks to me like I have to cut maybe 1.5 rows, and on this side of the whole wrap I have 1.5 rows right here. So I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use the craft knife to cut that. The backing is really, really thin, so I'm pretty sure we can use the knife to cut it. Oh yeah, it's really easy. Okay, boom. Let's see if it fits. All right, well, okay, there's a little bit of a space here and here, but the magic of caulking, I'm gonna adhere this to the door, and then I'm gonna use my caulking gun to put just some latex caulking around the door, and that's going to hopefully make it look good. Now I'm fixing that one drawer. I'm just using some wood glue on the pegs, placing the drawer front back on there, and then tightening all of the bolts on the side. Yes, I'm using a butter knife. I could not find my flathead screwdriver, but I think this is gonna work out just fine once it's all dry. Okay, it's the next day. We have the caulking dry. We have all of the wood filler dry. I'm gonna sand down all of the holes that I wood filled. In my experience, if the finish of cabinetry or furniture is matte enough or rough enough, you shouldn't have to prime it. You can use a good paint just to go ahead and paint it. However, if there is any sort of glossiness to it, so lots of other IKEA furniture has a gloss to it, then I would definitely recommend not only sanding it to roughen up the surface, but also priming it with a really good primer as well that's meant for cabinetry. How have I learned this? Trial and error. I have painted many things wrong, had peeling paint come off. So primer is definitely important if you have any sort of gloss. If you're not sure, just do primer. I have this tiny little can of Bear Dynasty paint left over from a previous project. I know it's not a lot, but I'm crossing my fingers that I can use this to cover this piece. It's a beautiful green color, which I think is gonna go really well with some gold handles that I just ordered off of Amazon. So I'm gonna cross my fingers, hope that this works. This is a paint and primer in one product. So I'm just gonna sand everything down and I'm gonna paint right on the sanded surface. You can use something like this, a battery operated sander, or just a hand sander like a sanding sponge as well to sand your furniture down. One little tip I love, you can use some tin foil as a paint tray liner. You just squish it in there and then you throw it out when you're all done. I'm using a combination of a small foam roller and a detail brush to make a nice smooth finish for this cabinet. Goodness, this is looking dicey. I have less than half my can left. I only have one coat on everything. Let's just hope that this is going to do the second coat perfectly. I might have messed up. All right, it's the moment, or perhaps the moments of truth. I have let the first coat of paint on everything dry for 2 hours. And that was, I think, what's recommended by Bear for this particular paint. that's definitely another trick that I would recommend. Look at the drying time and the curing time required for the paint you're using, and that's gonna give your piece the finish that you want. I tend to be a little bit too restless when it comes to painting things, and sometimes I don't wait for one coat to dry enough before I put the other one on, and that also causes peeling. So I waited this time, had a coffee, now we're here. I am a little bit nervous because we only have half the can left to paint. So I'm really, really hoping that it's going to be enough to cover one more coat, maybe another coat and a touch up on this. I don't know. We're gonna just go for it and see what happens. The thing that's nice about this paint is it is a really great coverage paint. And that's one of the reasons why I chose this, because I had it in my arsenal. I knew that it was one that did have much better coverage than other ones that I've tried. So I think we're gonna be okay. We're gonna find out. All right, here we go. It's gonna be the last of it. Oh gosh. And I'm gonna use my brush to get out every single bit that's left in the can too. Okay, I've left the piece to dry overnight so that it is completely dry, all cured, and I am so thrilled with how this is looking. I think the coverage that we got on it is great. I am going to now rehang the last door. I did hang one of these and start applying hardware earlier today because I just couldn't wait. I have a patience problem. So let's put the hinges back on this side here, attach this door, and then we're going to install some new hardware. As for hardware, these came just in the nick of time yesterday to my doorstep. They're just from Amazon. Just some chunky, simple, modern brushed gold pulls, and then some chunky brushed gold knobs for the drawers. I want to make this look a little bit more streamlined, a little more modern, so that mix of their traditional and the modern, that transitional look. For the new knob holes, I am going to be measuring the center of the drawer and drilling an appropriately sized hole in the middle. Same with these, and then I'm going to put, just like this, I'm gonna put the bar pulls here, 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 and here. So let's measure it. You can also make cardboard template for these as well. I'm just going to measure. I have an X there where I want my hole to be. I found a bit that was the same size as the bolts that I'm using. I have to do it straight because sometimes I have this problem. Sometimes I have a problem where I move the drill either way and then the knob doesn't look centered because of that. This one was actually nice because it came with different sizes, different lengths, which is fantastic. And then I'm just going to screw it on here. And there we go. That looks pretty even. This whole drawer is kind of off center, so I just have to fix that. Awesome, yay. For this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the width of this drawer and find center, 9 7/8. And then I know that these drawer pulls from the hole to the hole are 6 1/4 inches. So I'm gonna go 3 1/8 on either side of this center. 3 1/8, 3 1/8. And then I'm gonna find center vertically. We're gonna go 3 7/8. And now I am terrible at math, which I have learned is not great for DIY. So I'm just gonna double check all my measurements and make sure it's all centered. 3 7/8. So I'm going nice and straight on with my drill. All right, I just did it. If you accidentally get these a little bit off, you can drill a hole a little bit on top or the bottom and just kind of fiddle with it, but that's not ideal. Good, so once I tighten that's gonna be perfect. So I'm gonna use these measurements as a guide for this drawer so I don't have to go through all of that again. I already did this drawer, so I'm gonna use those measurements for that one. Now that all of the hardware is on, everything looks good, I'm gonna clean up this whole area, take care of this pile of craft supplies, reorganize it, put it back in, style everything, and then I'll show you how it looks at the end. I'm also taking this floral contact paper drawer liner that I had in my stash from Dollar Tree for like, oh boy, 10 years. And I'm using it as a liner for all of these drawers just to give them a little more protection and make them look so cute. A really affordable way to make the interior of any dresser or sideboard look amazing and function really well too. Well, that took a lot longer than I thought, which is completely normal for DIYs, but I am so happy with how this turned out. So here's this IKEA sideboard before, and here's how it looks now. I'm loving this color. I'm really happy that I used this leftover can of paint. It adds just a little bit of a pop of color to our mostly now neutral living room. Plus, I think it's such a delicious color for spring. The new hardware updates it. I love the pull wrap on the door inserts. That just gives it a little bit more texture and interest. And I love the drawer liners too. I'm so happy I was able to make that paint can stretch and make this work out. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed this vintage IKEA makeover. Let me know what you think of it down in those comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more DIY and decor ideas on a budget. I'm gonna leave some more videos that I hope you will love watching next right up here.